Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the massive 5,000-year evolution of the stage. We're going to trace the incredible journey of drama, all the way from ancient, firelit rituals to the wildly experimental stages of the 20th century. If you've ever sat in a theater, or honestly even just binge-watched a compelling story at home, you're actively participating in a tradition that has completely shaped human history.
But before we travel way back in time, let me ask you something. Have you ever actually wondered what those famous smiling and frowning masks mean? You know the ones. They're on playbills, theater marquees, probably tattooed on half the drama students out there. But do you know the true history behind these universal symbols? They were actually created by the ancient Greeks, and they represent the two foundational pillars of the entire art form. And that brings us to comedy and tragedy. What's so fascinating here is how the historical definition differs from what we think of today. Right now, if I say comedy, you think of something laugh out loud funny. But historically, a comedy wasn't necessarily funny at all. It just meant the story had a happy ending, usually wrapping up with a wedding or a big celebration. That's the smiling mask. The frowning mask, tragedy, dealt with the heavy stuff, serious subjects that inevitably ended with a tragic downfall, and usually the death of a main character. Okay, let's quickly look at the roadmap for this explainer. We'll be hitting 5 key eras. 1. The masks and the mystery. 2. Ancient drama in Greece and Rome. 3. The medieval church revival. 4. The Renaissance golden age. And 5. The modern experimental stage. Section 1. The masks and the mystery. Because this art form is just so incredibly ancient, its earliest origins are definitely shrouded in mystery. Nobody actually knows exactly when or how it started, but to figure out where it came from, we need to know what it is. The word drama literally comes from a Greek word meaning action, so it's defined by 3 things. It's a story, it's told in action, and it's performed by actors who impersonate the characters. It's not just a story read off a page. It's a story being actively lived out right in front of you. And since we don't have a hard start date, historians toss around 3 really fascinating theories about how drama first originated. The first one suggests it grew out of ancient religious ceremonies. Just picture pagan priests impersonating supernatural beings or animals, acting out scenes to win the favor of the gods. The second theory points to choral hymns. These were praise songs sung at the tombs of dead heroes, where eventually someone from the chorus would step out and start actually acting out the hero's epic deeds. And the third theory, it's basically just our natural human obsession with a good story. Think about our ancient ancestors, gathered around a campfire, where a quick recap of the day's hunt naturally evolved into a full-blown dramatization. No matter exactly how it sparked to life, we know this art form is at least 5,000 years old. Our timeline kicks off with primitive plays done just for court entertainment in ancient Egypt. From there, the timeline makes some massive leaps, hitting classical Greece in the 5th century BC, dealing with the fracture of the Roman Empire in the 4th century, seeing a highly unexpected revival in the late 9th century Middle Ages, and culminating in the literary explosion of the 16th century Renaissance. Section 2. Ancient drama in Greece and Rome. It's right here that classical drama really lays the foundation for everything we watch today. Right around the 5th century BC, Greek civilization is absolutely flourishing, and those simple religious ceremonies we just talked about, they evolved into highly intricate comedies and tragedies. This is the true birth of classical drama. These were grand productions leaning heavily into traditional Greek mythology and pagan gods. It was a mix of civic duty, religion, and pure entertainment all rolled up into one massive experience. Then we get what you could call the Roman imitation. As Rome rose to power, they really wanted to copy that classical Greek culture. Peaking under Augustus Caesar, Roman authors successfully revisited what the Greeks did and produced some incredible high drama. But as the Roman Empire sprawled massively across the continent, things kind of took a turn. High drama completely fell out of fashion and basically deteriorated into mere spectacle, mostly just to keep the huge masses entertained. By the 4th century, the Roman Empire was fracturing, and here is where a massive cultural shift hits the stage. New church officials rose to power, and they firmly opposed the theater. Why? Simply because of drama's deep historical association with pagan gods. This old, quote-unquote, immoral theater didn't align with the empire's new Christian values. So, almost overnight, the entire art form fell decidedly out of favor and was largely banned. Section 3. The Medieval Church Revival. So, with the church cracking down, the tradition of acting was barely kept on life support. You had these wandering entertainers performing really crude scenes and pantomimes. But because these shows were considered so unrefined, large audiences entirely stayed away. The grand, respected stages of Greece and Rome were completely gone. But that leads us to an incredible plot twist.
The very institution that banned the theater ended up being the exact same institution to save it. I mean, you can't write a better twist than that. By the late 9th century, small churches desperately needed a way to teach a mostly illiterate peasantry about the Bible. Their solution? Drama. They created mystery plays, developed straight from church liturgy to depict biblical events. Then came miracle plays, which focused on the lives of saints and martyrs. And finally, morality plays. These were pure fiction, using allegorical legends to advocate for proper behavior by literally personifying vices and virtues as characters. Suddenly, theater wasn't pagan worship anymore. It was religious education.
Section 4. The Renaissance Golden Age. This is the moment drama transitions from religious education back into a magnificent literary art form. To understand this, we just need to quickly define the Renaissance. Spanning the 16th and 17th centuries, this was a time of massive renewed interest in art, literature, and learning all across Europe. It was a huge cultural awakening. The classical arts were revived, and audiences were suddenly starving for complex stories again.
So during this era, drama is firmly reestablished as a highly respected literary genre. And we can thank a wave of absolutely brilliant dramatists who took the stage by storm for that. We're talking about heavyweights like Ben Jonson, Christopher Marlowe, and obviously the legendary William Shakespeare. They elevated the script itself into high literature. Shakespeare's work really acts as the ultimate culmination point of everything we've looked at so far. He so brilliantly combined the influences of Roman and Greek classical theater with those earlier English traditions born in the medieval churches. He took all of that and seamlessly wove it into his histories, comedies, and tragedies, creating enduring masterpieces that still define the genre today.
Section 5. The Modern Experimental Stage. If the classical era built the rules and the Renaissance perfected them, well, the 20th century decided to completely shatter them. Playwrights like Arthur Miller, Neil Simon, and Samuel Beckett stepped up. Now, traditional plays were and still are being written and loved. These modern writers respected those old traditions, for sure, but they also really wanted to push the boundaries. They started embracing radical, experimental ideas that challenged how we even experience a story. Let's look at a few of these wild experiments. Number 1. Absolutely no script. That's right, some modern plays completely ditch the written text. Instead, the actors have to entirely improvise their dialogue on the spot. Just imagine the pure energy of that, a narrative being forged live, right in front of you, and knowing it will literally never be performed the exact same way again. And it gets wilder. Experiment number 2. The audience actually becomes the cast of characters. Talk about breaking down barriers. In these immersive plays, that traditional invisible wall between the stage and the seats is completely dissolved. You aren't just sitting in the dark watching the drama unfold, you are actively pulled in to be a part of it. And then there's experiment number 3. Some dramatists started writing plays with very little action or plot definition at all. Now, think back to the very beginning of this explainer. The original Greek definition of the word drama literally meant action. So by purposefully removing the action, modern playwrights are challenging the very core definition of the art form itself. They're basically asking audiences to find profound meaning in stillness or in a completely unconventional structure.
It is just absolutely incredible to step back and look at the whole picture. From campfire rituals trying to appease ancient gods, to intricate Greek tragedies, to moral teachings in medieval churches, all the way up to modern audiences improvising scenes without a script. The stage has been evolving for over 5,000 years, which leaves us with one incredibly provocative question to end on. Considering how far we've come, what will the stage look like next? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I hope it sparked your curiosity to go learn even more.